So, as someone who's engaging so many different um, people, both on the grassroots and the grass tops, do you get pulled in lots of different ways and get critiques from people who are saying, well, you should be fighting harder for us over here, or on the other hand, you're an activist, we shouldn't listen to you. How do you engage with those sometimes conflicting ways?
I'm always on the side of the people. I've learned when to put on my suit and tie, and I learned when to pick up my picket sign. I am a true activist at heart, and I truly believe that if I'm not at the table, I'm on the menu. So I have to be at those tables. I have to be with grass tops to know what's going on
Mm-hmm.
in those arenas and how they're going to impact me. Because that's the only way I can do a counteract. I don't want to be standing outside with my picket sign
Mm-hmm.
and they're in there deciding to give my whole community away. I want to be at that table so I can say, hold on. No, wait a minute. I'm in objection of this. And I will tell you, it is many times I'm at a table and I'm the only person of color and I don't hesitate to speak up. I've been criticized by some of my grassroots cohorts because I'm at those tables, but I tell them I need to know. I am one of those people. I'm curious as heck. I want to know what you're doing in there and how it's going to impact me. I've worked on some projects that people would, grassroots wouldn't work on. But I worked on them because I want to make sure that when you're putting money into community or you're making decisions that will affect the community, my voice is heard. I am a firm believer in making sure that any of the tables I sit at, they know I'm there and they know why I'm there. I'm there from community. I'm there looking at environmental aspects that may impact community. I am there, I don't care. I don't per se feel like my voice is the voice of the people, but I'm an impacted resident in the city of Detroit. So my voice may be someone else's voice. So I'm at those tables. I'm at those tables, and I sometimes I probably need to take the picket sign in the boardroom with me
Mm-hmm.
because when I'm in there, I'm speaking from an activist point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm never conflicted to do things that I don't think will benefit the residents in the city of Detroit.
There seems to be a lot of momentum right now in this at the state level, um, as far as legislation for water affordability and contamination, PFAS, the water bill is being pushed forward. What is your take on really how you're seeing this evolve? Because bills have been introduced in the past too, and they haven't made it through. Um, is this any different? Dare we hope?
No, it's not. All the different legislative bills and all that's being proposed right now is not any different from any other bills. Listen, we have a new crop of legislators in there, and everybody's writing bills because they want their name to be heard. They want to be able to say, "I tried." It's not going anywhere. I think the real policy is going to come top down. The one thing that Michigan has done is that they have elected a governor that knows about these issues. A governor that's always been a true environmentalist. So she knows about water issues, and what she don't know, she's gonna learn. She's put a really good crop of people around her that can inform her of issues. And I think most of the policy is going to come top down. The only problem, well, the water issue, maybe not water affordability, but water conservation and water quality. Those issues are going to be nonpartisan issues. They're going to be across the board. So I think those kind of issues will pass. Now, when we start talking affordability, we're talking dollars. Okay, so that may be a different story that may become a partisan issue, because Bloomfield may not want to vote for an issue that's going to impact Detroit. But the thing is, what most of them don't understand is, I bet you every legislator up there has somebody in their community that is facing water insecurity, and they don't understand that. They think it's only the urban areas. Okay, and I think if someone was to write a bill, they need to make sure that across the aisle knows this impacts your residents as well.
I still remember last year when there was a water main break up on the up near Novi. The newspapers were all like, "Oh my God, we never experienced anything like this before. This is like Detroit." And then
Right.
everyone was like, "Oh yes."
Do you remember the big one out with was it St. Clair?
Mhm.
You know, they never been through that kind of issue before. You know, this happens only in Detroit. Yeah, it impacts people across the board. And a lot of legislators do not understand that they actually have people with no water in their communities.
Mhm. So, a sticking point with tiered rate systems, affordability issues is dollars, like you said,
Yes.
and even among a lot of sympathizers, there's often a, well, how much is too much or how much is fair? What are you seeing in terms of this broader discussion, in terms of what is a fair price for water?
I can't answer that because I have no idea.
Mm.
I have no idea. My thing is that I think that amount can be developed.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we look at, as I said, especially with DWSD,
Mm-hmm.
they're making money off of water. And when we look at that, I know that I pay my water bill in full every month, so they get their money. But I also know how to conserve water. I'm also educated about, not wasting water and, different things like that. Although I do water my lawn. But I know that I pay my bill in full every month. You're making money off that money that I just paid.
Mm-hmm.
How about you take a couple of those dollars and put it on that person's water bill that couldn't afford to pay their whole bill this month? And if that's done across the board, I'm quite sure they can come up with a percentage of pennies on every water bill or pennies on a dollar that can go into a fund to help balance out, those that can't pay their water bill. And I'm not talking about no payment assistance program. I'm talking about a true tier water rate structure. You know, if your household brings in this amount of money, then you have this percentage of your water bill that will be covered. You know, uh, and it has to be based on income. And I hate doing anything on income because then it provides some unequitable measures when you start looking at income. But if that's the way to make sure that water bills are being paid, then I have to step back and say, okay, then make sure, then do it that way. I don't like divvying people up, by income. That's not considered equitable to me. But and I don't believe in you pay so much money and you get so much water. Who's to say that I need all the water I get, but you only need, you need more than what you're getting. You're able to pay for. So that's not equitable. Paying by usage, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard people say everybody is entitled to water. Yes. And then the caveat to that is that, so how about we have so much water for so much money and they can pay this monthly and they'll get this certain amount of water. What happens if they need more water? Do you cut off their water for that much because they went over the water that they purchased? You can't do that. That's not equitable to me. Because if I'm a household of one and this is a household of one, we're probably using the same amount of water. You know, because if you've educated both of us about water stewardship and conservation, then we're probably using the same amount of water. But I make $20,000-$30,000 more than this person. But who's to say I need more water than that person? That I'm entitled to more water than that person because I can afford to pay for it. And that person has to live within this bottle of water that you're giving them for the month. That's not equitable to me. And these are some of the stories that I hear of what people think the answer to the problem is. The answer to the problem is that you take all of the money that you're getting in and you balance it across the board. You balance it across the board so that everyone has water and everyone has enough water to last them throughout every month. That it meets their needs, their household needs. So I know that sounds crazy. If I have to put an extra dollar in the pot every month, if I have to put an extra dollar in the pot, I'm good with that. To set up this fund, I'm good with that. And you would be surprised at how many people would be willing to put an extra dollar in the pot. But nobody's looking at that. There's not a lie heat program for water. You know how people donate to thaw and all of that? Get a water program and let people donate to it. But don't use that money to pay off water bills. You use that money to pay off water bills in the system as it's happening and not waiting on someone's water bill to get where they're ready to be shut off and then you use the money. Let's use that fund of money across the board for people that can't afford to pay their water. Not wait till they're getting shut off and then they can come and get some money. That's usually eaten up so fast. Because you wait till it gets to a point of no return and then they got to pay a deposit. And that's crazy. If I can't pay the water bill, I can't pay a deposit. I can't give you $400 for you to hold on to for how long, because I couldn't pay my water bill. I need that $400 to pay bills. Okay, you're getting me started again.
What is there a person's story or experience that moves you? This could be something that you have witnessed or something that you have experienced as well, or maybe a role model for you.
Well, I told you the story that moved me. The fact of having to fill up igloos and buckets of water and lug them across the street to my neighbor's house that should have never been in that situation. That moves me. That really moved me that there are so many people like her throughout the city. But the fact that I've seen Monica lugging water with no question, you need it, we're going to get it to you. That is so inspirational when you don't have conditions on the work you do. You do it because it's the right thing. That is so inspirational. That you don't judge people. People judge people. Your water get cut off. Well, they didn't pay their water bill. No, come on. And to see people like Monica that see water shutoffs as a crime is so inspirational. She has moved me to do so much in this water issue. You know, and to really look at it from a different point of view, because at one time I did look at it, okay, they didn't pay their water bill, and people would say, they didn't pay their bill, so their water should be cut off. No, nobody should ever be without water. I'm sorry, that's just unacceptable to me. I don't care what you have to do, people need to have water. If they can't afford it, let's find a way that they can afford it. Let's figure it out some kind of way. So yeah, just having no conditions around, this issue, that people without water is just wrong.
Hmm.
That's that it's just unacceptable to me at this point.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Are there any last words or parting comments or something that we haven't touched about so far that you'd like to leave us with?
No, I mean I'm fired up now because it's just I'm just state again. Go to the center of Michigan.
Hmm.
Go 4 hours each way, east, west, north. You're gonna hit some water. We should not have a crisis when it comes to water. It's just unacceptable.